The recent 5FM Sun City 400 drew a huge entry in the motorcycle category. Top star Jeremy Davies started off the season carrying an injury, and along with fellow Springbok Alfie Cox, will be riding for Castrol Honda this year.
I had an anterior cruciate ligament repair 3 months ago, so it's a little bit close to pushing it by about 5 weeks to race, but they said take it easy and don't put your feet down, so I try my best for today.
It's very nice that we've got one more longer 1,000-kilometer race in the series, but it does make for a lot of racing where we normally only had 6 events for the year. Now we've got to go to 8 and 9 events. Makes things a little bit expensive, and you know, well, hopefully it'll work out in the long run.
This year's Off-Road Championship is being run on a two-tier system. The championship's made up of sprint series races with a maximum distance of 350 kilometers and marathon challenge events with a minimum distance of 1,000 kilometers. The 5FM Sun City event was the first of the sprint series races, with the bikers being sent off at 30-second intervals at the start of the 342-kilometer bash through the Pilanesberg-Bundu. Roof of Africa winner Patrick Andrews was first away on the Lesotho Office Equipment Kawasaki. The Lesotho rider prefers the slower and more technical routes and was quickly under pressure from Alfie Cox, who was reveling in the conditions. After many years in the Kawasaki camp, Cox was also quick to come to terms with the new Castrol Honda. Riders were faced with 4 loops of 85 kilometers each on a figure-of-8 course. Winston Yamaha rider Chris Dodd was to be involved throughout the race in a close dice with Fred Preston. With the race run on a corrected time basis, Dodd was always ahead of Preston on the road. Preston is a former motocross star, but looked to be enjoying himself in his new role. Off-road racing calls for different techniques and skills, but Preston seemed to be coping well. Off-roaders also cannot resist a bit of showboating. 500-class leader Errol Dalton produced a high-speed wheelie for our cameraman, but behind him Jeremy Davies was charging through the field on the Castrol Honda, after starting 20 minutes behind the first bike away. Stuart McLaughlin was leading the 200 class on bike number 5, the Lesotho Office Equipment Kawasaki. There was plenty of activity and often a little anxiety in the pits and at fuel stops. Some intrepid adventurers also tackle off-road racing on quad races. It's tough going, and Eric Skuman on the Honda was the only one of 5 quad racer starters to make it to the finish. At the head of the field, Alfie Cox was going like a train. He'd reeled in Patrick Andrews, and with the Castrol Honda never missing a beat, was busy stamping his authority on proceedings. Cox was now first on the road and leading the race on corrected time. Patrick Andrews was struggling. Passed by Cox, Andrews was also coming under pressure from a flying Jeremy Davies. With conditions now very dusty, Davies was in turn locked in a close battle with Yuri Human. Chris Dodd was still going well on the Winston Yamaha and looked sure of a place in the top 10. The main interest now lay in the race for second overall and first in the 500 class. Here, Yuri Human on bike 523, the Truck Africa Kawasaki, and 507, Jeremy Davies on the Castrol Honda, were fighting a tense personal duel. Davies was showing no signs of being bothered by his knee surgery and had carved his way through the field on the big Honda. Fred Preston was still chasing Chris Dodd, with Errol Dalton now relegated to 3rd place in the 500 class behind Davies and Human. While a string of personal battles were still being fought out in the dust, Alfie Cox was cruising home to victory. Behind him, Jeremy Davies edged out Yuri Human in what turned out to be a tense finish. For Cox and the Castrol Honda, it was a race where nothing went wrong.
You know, I've had not too much time with the bike, because the bike only arrived 2 weeks ago, but it just went unbelievable from start to finish. I'm very happy with the bike, and to win the race is very nice as well.
The race had a little more drama to come, with Human arriving at the finish second, convinced he'd beaten Davies, who was behind him on the road. On corrected race times, second place went to Davies.
I lost too much time in the dust this morning. It was difficult to try and get through the 250s. I think I was going that slowly, but I just lost those crucial minutes. And the pace was quick. I actually didn't think Yuri passed me again, but I knew on corrected time. I just had to stay within a minute of him and I can beat him. So I just hung in there and hoped I could keep it down.
A great start to the season for the Castrol Honda pair of Alfie Cox and Jeremy Davies. A disappointed Yuri Human came in third overall, followed by Patrick Andrews and Errol Dalton to complete the top 5. Class 11 honours went to Graham McLaughlin with Alex Vowell second. Alfie Cox ruled the roost in Class 12 with Patrick Andrews second, with Jeremy Davies taking Class 13 ahead of Yuri Human.